if she saw that. Anyway, so those are the two big changes. But we'll go ahead and get started. As long as everybody's here, I think all our guests are here. So we'll get started with the minutes of the December meeting. They were sent out electronically. And if you missed that meeting, oh my gosh, you missed a very joyful meeting. We had our regular business, short business meeting. Lon Deep bid his goodbyes and talked a little bit about what he was going to be doing. And we had a presentation from the Piedmont Middle School music department and the Morel Middle School music department, and they were just outstanding. It was so joyful. It was so wonderful. It's amazing to be able to keep the kids involved in the music program through the electronics. It's just, it was wonderful. So
I wasn't able to attend the meeting, but I did watch the video of the performances, and they truly were wonderful. I enjoyed that so much.
yeah, my daughter was a little upset because she works at Piedmont. She says, "You didn't tell us that they were going to be on," So I said, "Well, just go watch it on our, on our webpage." So that's what she had to do. So does anybody have any corrections to the minutes to the December meeting? Hearing none, we're going to accept them as written. And then we will go on to the treasurer's report. Susan?
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Susan. So I have the treasurer's report for, let's see, for December, the month of December. So the beginning balance December 1st, 2020 was $3,742.47. There was no income or expenses for that month, and the ending balance was $3,742.47 on December 31st, 2020. The Beautify San Jose grant, cycle 3, on December 1st, 2020, there was $5,000. We had expenses, miscellaneous supplies purchased for the mural restoration work. It was a reimbursement to Ty Greaves, and that was in the amount of $67.70. So the cycle 3 grant had an ending balance of $4,932.30 on December 31st, 2020. And I want to thank for the people that are in attendance that have sent in their 2021 membership dues of $10. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't done so already, if you could send in your $10, it would go a long way because we got a lot of projects ahead of us. So thank you.
And our San Jose Unified Grant, our Beautified Grant is still technically ongoing. So we don't have really a balance of 49 because that's going to be gone pretty soon, or a lot of it will be. So but we can't show any of that until actually the bills come in for that. So we'll talk more about that toward the end of the meeting. Are there any questions about the dues? You do have to pay for Zoom. So that's going to be an expense that you'll see eventually. Okay. All right. Thank you. The next up is the police report, and our new captain is Captain Todd Trayer. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you, Linda. And hello, everybody. I know it says Captain Todd there, but I think when he sends me the Zoom link, it shows his name there. But that's okay. I'll pretend like I'm Captain Todd for a minute. First of all, thanks for having me. I do recognize quite a few of you in the room. So thanks for having me again. It's a privilege to be your captain of the Foothill Division. Secretly, I can tell you that as an officer and a sergeant, I have worked out in your area by choice for many years. I also used to work at Piedmont Hills High School when I was a brand new cop, just kind of learning how to be a cop, I guess. But now I get to be your captain. I've been a captain for 4 whopping days so far.
Oh, wow.
And I've been on the department for 25 years. I will tell you that I grew up here in San Jose. I still live here. My wife is way too smart and beautiful to be my wife, but she's a kindergarten teacher in San Jose. And I have 14-year-old twins, a boy and a girl. who are in the other room right now, I'm sure studying or watching TikTok or something. But on the department, as far as the department goes, I think this is my 14th position. I've worked as a detective. I've worked in Vice, the intelligence unit, internal affairs, recruiting. I just got out of the gang unit, and I ran the gang unit and the assault unit for the police department. So the gangs are kind of something that I'm very up on. And I worked a lot of that over the many years that I've been a cop. So thanks for having me. I'm going to try and keep it short as far as me, but I will let you know that I have a few priorities that I wanted to initially tell you. And the most important is your priorities are my priorities. So I've heard a lot of different things, but really what matters to you and what makes you feel safe at your house is what we're going to work on. That's those are easy, and those, I mean, not easy to always solve, but they're easy for us to talk about and work on and prioritize. But I can tell you, when I look at the statistics and the crime reports that I see some other things that I need to work on too. One of them, if you're familiar with them, are sideshows. Sideshows are the cars that are driving around doing all the very unsafe driving. We just had one last weekend. It went to 5 different locations in the county, a lot of them in San Jose. And they're very dangerous. And I'm sure they are exhilarating for the people who are involved, but the reality is they're very dangerous, and they're being done throughout the Bay Area. So that is a main concern for me, because it affects all of our quality of life. And I live here too. Secondly, aggravated assaults, which it's a fancy term for just a violent assault that didn't end up killing somebody. And I know from working the gangs that those are those mean a lot to a community, when those have big ripple effects, and they also show a lot of things that are happening in a neighborhood. So I want you to know that that is a priority for me. And as a gang lieutenant before I got here, that's always been something we've worked on. And then third is the community outreach part. I know we're in COVID. In fact, I run the COVID program for the police department since day one. I've done it every day as a kind of a collateral duty. And it's hopefully we get our vaccines here coming up soon, all of us, if you're into that. But what I have been able to do, and it was really a gift from these chiefs now at the department, is I've been able to work on every community outreach program. So a STAR camp that I did, where I took a bunch of 4th and 5th graders overnight. I don't know how I survived it, but I did. And a lot of other programs like Team Kids and things like that we work with the schools and the community with, community cleanups, those type of things. Those are all things I look forward to getting back into once this pandemic ends, and it is going to end. I truly believe that. And we're going to have a better year. This is a great year for me to join your program, because I think all we can do is get better, right? And I think that's it. I kind of want to save a lot of time for, there's some superstars here, including Councilmember Cohen, who welcome to the team, and your team as well. I've never seen so many people support a council person at a city meeting before, or a county neighborhood meeting. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to leave it at that and be a great listener the rest of this meeting. Thank you for having me. I will somehow get my email to you. I can't post it on your chat because it's not that type of chat. Make sure you have my email and my phone number so you can get a hold of me. Thank you very much. You are muted, Linda.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Yeah, I'll make sure we have that so I can contact you better. And so, did anybody have any questions for the captain tonight? So delighted for you to come. And this is really a good group. Sita.
Yeah, I do have a question. I happened to be on Nextdoor earlier in the day, and apparently there was an issue with the police on the east side, where the police actually had to draw their guns. It was a shooting. Do you know anything about that, Captain?
Sita, I bet I do, but I hate to say it, but we do have to draw our guns a lot. But it definitely was not a police shooting, because I would know about that. It was not a San Jose police shooting. If it happened today, I have not heard of any exigent things. Marley, I don't know if you heard of something. Maybe I see you shaking your head. Maybe you can help me out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was on a Alta Vista off White Road. Not really sure if it, I might think it might be the foothills. I've been following it on Nextdoor too, but it's right next. It's pretty close near. So I've been hearing the helicopters all day.
Oh,
It was in the foothills, yes.
I just checked my email while you said that, Marley, and I do not see what we call an info report to me yet. So they probably must still be working on it. So I will get back to you with what happened on Alta Vista.
I think, are you guys talking about the one off of Fleming, or you talking about the one off of Fleming that was Sheriff's Office? It was an event that was involved a firearm, but it wasn't a police shooting, and no suspects outstanding.
thank you. Kathy, you had a question? Kathy, are you there?
It looks
Kathy?
like she typed her question into the question and answer. If you want,
Yeah.
I can read it out loud, or you guys can look at it.
Oh,
It says recently the no stopping signs were put up in Upper Sierra Road. How many citations were issued, and when will we be getting more patrols late at night on Upper Sierra Road?
Thanks for the question. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I have not been apprised yet from Captain Taw. We're actually have a meeting on Wednesday to talk about all those issues. So I will find out for you the numbers and the stop signs and things like that. But I just took over. I can tell you that I have heard a lot about Sierra Road ever since I've worked out here, and not in a bad way, but I know it's popular for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Linda, Dave
Yes.
Santos for the captain. First of all, Captain, congratulations on your promotion. I can tell you this, Sierra Road is a nightmare. We're getting about 10,000 vehicles on a weekend, and it goes on, and every day between 4:30 to 7 at night, it's like a racetrack. It's getting very dangerous to the hikers, to the bikers, and people who want to go up and enjoy Vista Ridge. Unfortunately, about 25% of them are either gang members, drugs, or whatever have you. The rest of the folks seem to want to go up and enjoy themselves. But today it's a very dangerous road, and it's getting worse. And we do not see sheriff deputies at all anymore. I work out in my landscaping, be out there 5, 6, 7 hours. I don't see anybody. We welcome our police officers. We support them. So that's a comment. It's factual. And whatever I can do or we can do, please give us a hand. It's tough.
Thank you.
Definitely noted on my part. Thank you very much.
All right. From the Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Julian Quinones.
Thank you. First and foremost, Happy New Year to everyone. My apologies for not zooming in on any of your meetings before. I've been quite busy, and I just recently received my Zoom camera, so I can now join in on meetings. I work nights, so I'm the last one to get these Zoom meeting cameras because they go to all the day shift people first who have to attend all the meetings. With that said, our department has gone through some pretty big changes here in 2020. It's been a very difficult year, as you guys know, for law enforcement, and we're trying to do the best we can to provide the services that we need to provide for everyone in the unincorporated area. Sierra Road is definitely a road that we want to get to as much as we possibly can. As I explained in the meetings in person, it's always a two-man call. And on certain nights, if I only have 3 units, I got to send 2 all the way up Sierra for a patrol check, which we still do. It definitely takes them out for about 40 to 45 minutes to get all the way to Felter and to be able to come back. But we still do it. I do have some numbers for you guys. Since I haven't been able to meet with you, I went back 2 months for the month of November and December. During that time frame, we had 23 patrol checks of Sierra Road. We had approximately 6 911 calls for service. We had a few alarm calls up in that area. We had numerous car stops up on Sierra Road, and we recovered 3 stolen vehicles during that time frame on Sierra Road. I do understand the frustration of having all these people come up to Sierra Road. Sierra Road is one of those roads that a lot of people like to go to, especially now with COVID. There's nowhere for people to go, and that's where they're going to go to do what they need to do socialize, to engage with other people, which of course we don't want that to happen. We're trying to do the best we can to get our patrol checks done. But that's where we're at as far as the numbers for the last
It'll be later.
2 months.
Call you.
Also, some of the changes here, as you know, I introduced you to my new captain, Captain Bob Durr. He is now in charge of headquarters patrol. He is the division commander. We now have a new lieutenant. Lieutenant Alanis has retired. So we have Lieutenant Suhe Jaimez. She's working day shift. She will be taking any phone calls or any emails from anybody from the board. We also have a new watch commander. I'm no longer a single watch commander. All right. So we have coverage 7 nights a week now. The other watch commander's name is Lieutenant Jeremy Jones. He's a young, enthusiastic man. He is a former canine handler, a former collegiate all-star, and he's very eager to get out and work. He does a very wonderful job, and hopefully we'll be able to meet him when we get back to normal, or if I can have him come in on a Monday. Our schedules are, I work Sunday through Wednesday, and he works Wednesday through Saturday. We work from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. So we now have a watch commander every night of the week, which is good. We try to get our patrol checks, which Richard was saying, during those hours. We know that that's when people like to frequent that area. It is a little colder now, so I don't think they're going up there as late as in the summertime, but we will continue with our patrol checks in the area, and we encourage the citizens in that area to please contact us if you see something, and develop a call for service so I can get my deputies up there. Again, remember, it's always a 2-man response, especially on Sierra Road for a patrol check. Normally patrol checks, a deputy will roll through an area by himself just to be visible, but I can't do that on Sierra Road. It has to be 2 cars, 2 men that have to go up there for officer safety reasons. We're trying to do the best we can. Again, with everything happening here, I can tell you, and both captains can, hopefully they agree with me, it's been a very difficult year for us in law enforcement. We are doing things that we never thought we'd do. We're tackling things that we never thought we would ever see. I never thought I'd see this in my career, but here we are. We're going into 2021. We're hoping that 2021 is going to be a better year. I sure do hope so, because it's my last year. So I'll be retiring at the end of this year. So I'm hoping it's going to be a great year. And with that, I'll take any questions. But before that, if a captain has anything he'd like to say, I think this would be a great time for him to speak.
Happy New Year again. I'm excited to be here. I've worked headquarters patrol before. I've worked West Valley. I've worked everywhere pretty much. I'm an old timer like the lieutenant. Been around for a little bit. It'll be my 30th year. So I've been around. I've done pretty much everything except homicide, IA, but I've done everything else. Joint Terrorism Task Force, Auto Theft Task Force. I was lucky. I had a great career. My motto is we work as a team. I have a whole team of lieutenants, sergeants, deputies. We work as a team. We also would like, part of the team is the community. We always involve the community. I was on the West Valley Division for 3 to 4 years, I think 4 years. We've worked with 3 different cities. We've worked with 3 different cultures, different way of doing business. So we're very adaptable. I'm very adaptable, but the main thing is the community input. We like to have the input of the community. Without the community, we can't do anything to succeed. So in order for us to succeed, we have to have your input and your assistance and your say so. So I'm very accessible, email, text. Everybody, I sent it out to, I believe, Kathy. She should have all my info. I've included all the lieutenants for just in case if you guys can't get a hold of us, but we're definitely reachable and accessible. And I look forward to meeting every one of you guys. And we work well with San Jose PD and everybody else. I'm old school, so I believe in kind of working in teams where we have everybody's on board. It doesn't matter what uniform you put on. We're both doing the same job for our community. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, I am old. And but I look forward to working with all of you guys.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. We appreciate your being here tonight. All right, we have some reports from elected or appointed officials. The first one is Santa Clara County Water District, Richard Santos. Do you have anything to tell us?
Well, good
Besides
evening,
no
Madam
rain?
Chair. Yeah, we got a few concerns about the homeless, of course, and into the Bob Gross ponds and other areas. And it's an ongoing problem, as you know. We even have to pay taxpayers' money to San Jose PD just to protect our employees when they're trying to clean up the creek and all the trash from the homeless and all the different creeks. So it's a very difficult time. But I do whatever I can do to make sure our employees and our officers and our residents are safe. So we support it. About the penitentiary, we can't move people out without working with the city, county, and the health doctor and everybody else. So it's a different ball game today. Probably saw the article today about the Pacheco Dam, but the cost. But you know what? If you don't have water, it's going to be a bigger cost. So Anderson Dam is going to take 100 years with all the federal and state regulations and environmental issues. And so we need water now. So I'm saying let's go forward. The best thing I can do is leave you folks with water, not take it away. So when those opportunities are here, we got to go for it. And that's all there is to it. We're keeping the rates the same so far. How long could that be? I don't know. We're able to keep all our employees working, probably 95% from home. It's a real blessing. And then we have coast, we have essential workers. It's a very, very tough time. But thank you for the invitation as always. And thank you for all the support from the Bay Area Citizens Advisory Council.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate you being here tonight. You're very faithful about attending all the meetings and keeping us informed. We appreciate that. Various Union School District Superintendent, Dr. Roxanne Fuentes. There you are.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. And thank you so much for all the wonderful compliments to our students and our teachers that were able to perform at December's meeting. We're so proud of all of our talented students, and they have excellent, music teachers that support them. So thank you so much for your kind compliments and your emails of enthusiasm for their work. Just wanted to give an update. We are, back from the holiday vacation, and our students and our teachers and staff are still continuing with distance learning. I know it's been a very challenging year for our children and their families, but I do want to just commend, our staff for all of the support they've been providing our students and learning to teach in new ways with, these new conditions. We are providing additional tutoring assistance to our students as well. So I want to put that out there to our community. We're transitioning from virtual tutoring supports to on-site tutoring supports at our school sites, especially for our middle school students who have more trouble with engaging online, in terms of their studies. So we're glad to be able to bring on these additional supports. We know there's been quite a bit in the news recently about reopening schools. There are several initiatives that are going through the legislature, that'll be going through the legislature starting this week. The governor has his plan for Safe Schools for All, which is an incentive grant program. And then there's also Assembly Bill 10, which is another initiative for reopening schools when conditions are safer. For Berryessa Union School District, we've been working closely with all of our employee associations and with our families. And we have said we would continue to monitor conditions as we put safety for all at the forefront. And we're monitoring for a possible March return, depending on improvement of, the current COVID situation. We're very grateful for the funds that are being put forward, both at the federal and state level, to be able to help us support all the safety protocols that we do need to implement. There will be some new safety requirements that we're going to have to review. Again, we're waiting for that information to continue to come out. Testing procedures for staff as well as for students is something that's quite a large operational task for our school district to do. And so that's something that we're reviewing and that these dollars will help support. In addition to that, educators are in the next tier for vaccine information. So for vaccine option. And so we're waiting for more information on what that schedule will look like. So we're hoping by next week, we'll have a better idea of when our staff and employees can have access to the vaccinations. Also, I know that our members here like to be involved in the school district, and I always try to let you know when there are opportunities for you to lend a helping hand. As you know, we've talked about our bond measure, and I have Summerdale behind me. This is one of our flexible instructional spaces that we were able to put together in our school sites based on those bond dollars. We also have our other parcel tax, which is Measure K, and we're currently seeking community members to be part of that committee. So if any of you are interested in how those dollars work and how they support our schools, there's only 2 meetings remaining for this school year. And so if you're interested in being part of that committee, please reach out to me, contact my office, and we'll let you know how you can become a member. And then lastly, as you know, I know Council Member Cohen will be speaking, formally our trustee over at Berryessa. So as a result of his new leadership role, we also have a vacancy on our school board. So tomorrow during our school board meeting, it's open to the public at 7 p.m. The link is on our website. Our trustees will be discussing the vacancy and how we will be proceeding. We do have 60 days to fill that seat. We will be publicizing to everyone what our next steps will be. So anyone who is interested in school board leadership, please feel free to contact me. We also have several of our trustees here tonight. Trustee Boak, who's our current school board president, she's on the line, as well as our new trustee, Jay Srinivasan, welcome. And then also we know we have a trustee Jimenez, who's also here this evening. So we have a wonderful board, a fantastic governance team. And so we look forward to meeting those of you that may be interested in exploring this leadership opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a good report. Lots of information. Is Robin Reiner here today? Robin. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Robin Romer. Is he here tonight? I can't see.
He's on the. He's in the audience. He needs to be promoted to panelist.
Yeah, she needs to be promoted.
Because he is going to give a kind of an update. He's a part of the VTA Citizens Advisory Committee. So Robin, there you are. All right, good.
Thank you so much, Linda. Yes, I'm representing, I'm on the Citizens Advisory Board for VTA, and I wanted to briefly inform you about 2 things that are going on at VTA. I think that everyone—
You turn up your mic a little bit, I think.
There are 2 things that everybody— is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
2 things that everybody should be aware of that are going on. One is that VTA is doing a better bus stop program. So they're going to try to improve our bus stops. That's basically 2 parts. First, they're going to figure out where bus stops should go. And then once they have that, they're going to try to put amenity in, like a bench or a shelter. So if any thoughts on where in your area a bus stop should go, reach out to me or VTA to weigh in on that. And then the other item I think everybody should be aware of, and maybe is the bigger item, is Measure B allocation for the next 10 years. As you are aware, probably Measure B is a large program with many, many items on the list. And as often, there's too much on there to do everything at the same time. So the VTA board, our elected officials, have to figure out what can we do with the funding as it comes in. And there are basically two options as there generally is with these things. We could either try to stretch out the money over the 30 years of the measure and delay certain things and kind of prioritize what we tackle first. And one of those things would certainly be bringing BART to downtown San Jose, which is a big ticket item and will take a lot of funding. But that caused some backlash because people say that we should have other priorities too, and they should be served as well. So the other idea is to kind of spend more money in the beginning and then kind of do bonding and get loans from banks and so forth. The disadvantage of that approach obviously is that we're going to run out of money at another point in time, 10, 15, 20 years, and then we won't be able to do anything. So if you have any thoughts about Measure B and how it should be allocated over the next 10 years, what strategy the board should use, now would be a good time to weigh in on that. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
Questions? I don't see any hands. I don't see a chat. Thank you, Robin, for being here tonight. We appreciate it. Good.
Thank you.
Keep us informed. All right. You know, we're so proud that we have a student on our board. And so I'm going to let Vishnu kind of tell us what's going on at school. He's a Piedmont Hills High School senior this year. Vishnu, you want to say a couple of words?
Yeah, sure. I'm a junior this year, actually.
Oh, a junior. Oh,
Yeah, I think
Uh-huh.
I'll talk about like how some of my teachers have found a way to actually teach this year. So, this year it was interesting because the teachers were learning with the students, right?
Mhm.
So everyone kind of had to learn how to use Zoom together and also figure out like how to take tests online and also just preserve the same atmosphere we had in a real classroom, right? And some of our teachers have actually figured that out really well. One of my teachers have made like this little rule where you're kind of rewarded based on if you have your camera on and also like if you have your mic open, like even at all times. And I know that sounds a little bit chaotic, but it feels the same as it was back in 2019 where we could see each other, right? We can still talk to each other and everything. Other things that teachers have done, there's like new testing websites, right? Like Kahoot, we do Kahoots a lot in class, which is like it's like a live test where you can like rank yourself among your peers, and it's a good way to learn and still be a community, right? And a lot of teachers have been really, really understanding this year, and I think all the teachers should get some sort of commendation for that. A lot of students I know, including myself, we had a few times where we really blundered, and we'd have to talk to our teachers about what we did wrong and how we wanted to fix it, right? And a lot of teachers were really understanding, and it just made me that much more motivated to try to succeed. And it also made me feel that teachers were more my friend than teachers in some way. Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. We appreciate that. We got to get you to report a little more often, because you always have some good things to say. Thank you. All right, now we're on to some more new people. Presentation by our newly elected officials who represent Berryessa or parts of us, or we're part of them. So first up will be Councilman David Cohen and his staff.
Great, well, thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. It's great to be here with you and to see all of you. And I assure you and my 6 members of my staff that are here tonight that I won't force all 6 staff members to attend every meeting going forward. But I thought it was important that you as a community get to meet the people who will be working with you and who will be the interface between my office and the community going forward. We have a bit of a presentation to share with you. So Stacy, are you going to be able to share, or I guess you need some? You need
can you enable
share, right?
can you enable sharing for me, and I'll bring up the presentation.
We're going to just talk to you a little bit about our vision and priorities as an office, and then let some of our staff members introduce themselves. I hope that sometime in the near future, once as we begin to recover from the pandemic, that we will be back in the building behind me in person, so we can see each other face to face again soon, and begin to interact more closer together again, like we did up till last March, which was always one of my favorite things to do every month, to see you all in person. But I do want to thank you and the residents of District 4 for allowing me to continue to serve the district. I'm going to certainly miss spending time in our schools, which I'll continue to do as much as I can. But we have a lot of great things that we're going to try to do for our district on the city council. So here we are, going to introduce our staff and what our vision is for the District 4 office. So we're going to talk about our vision and core values, introduce the team, and talk a little bit about what we hope to do in the first 100 days as we get started. So we'll move on to the vision. So our District 4 vision is that by bringing people together and focusing on building relationships in the community, we will create a cohesive and healthy community in District 4 in order to provide a sense of place for our residents where affordable housing, clean and safe neighborhoods, and economic development thrive. So that's the vision statement that we developed during our transition period in the month of December as we built out our team. So we'll go on to the next slide. So as part of that, we created some core values that we're going to allow to drive our team. Primary job one is to listen to our constituents and be your champions at City Hall. We will value above all else our ability to be of service to you, all of our constituents. We resolve issues with speed and acumen and celebrate our community and make strategic investments wherever possible. We believe in the golden rule. We'll treat everyone we deal with as we would like to be treated ourselves. We believe that integrity matters. We will be honest, we'll honor our commitments, we'll be consistent and fair. And we value diversity, belonging, and inclusion, and use an equity lens to inform our decisions. So those are going to be our core values as a team as we try to implement our vision for District 4. So in order to do that, we spent Stacy, who I brought on board as my chief of staff, and I and some other people who helped with the transition for our team have been building out a team of folks who we think are going to be well suited to implement this vision and live under these core values. I'm excited about the team for a variety of reasons, with the exception of one member who lives just over the border in the city of Campbell. Our entire team lives in the city of San Jose and has a lot invested in making San Jose be successful. Half of this staff actually lives in District 4, which I think is really important. Some even grown up in District 4, went to schools in District 4, know the district well, therefore have a lot of real direct personal investment in the success of District 4. So I'm going to let each person introduce themselves, but let me just talk a little bit about how we've structured the team. Stacy, who's driving the slides right now, she's going to be this chief of staff. She's helping me run the office day to day and help me with policy and dealing with coordinating the team and running the staff. Noreen Arsenos is the executive assistant. She's going to be the one who answers the phones when you call the office, who helps me with scheduling, who will keep my calendar. Those of you who contact the office a lot, you will get to know her. She'll be the one that will speak to you first. She's got a lot of experience in that kind of a role, and she'll be interfacing with the community quite a bit. You may know Johnson Schran. He worked with my campaign and grew up here in District 4. And he's the one person on my staff who's not here tonight. Unfortunately, he is recovering from COVID-19. Yeah. He got pretty sick in the last couple of weeks, but he was unable to join us tonight. He's on the mend now, but he's still in the throes of dealing with COVID. So he couldn't come here tonight, but he will be starting in our office next Monday. He was supposed to start last week, so we're a little bit behind on our full communications plan. So, but he will be our communications director in the office when he starts next week. And then we have 3 other staff members. who are focused on our community relations, working on our cases with our residents, and also being policy advisors on issues that we'll be dealing with in our office. Hugo Jimenez, who I'm sure you all know, who's on our school board in Berryessa, is one of those members. He started in our office at the beginning when we started last week. Marley Smith, who's on here tonight, started just today, so she's brand new to our office, although she's worked in City Hall before. And Alexander Gvatua also has worked in City Hall before, but won't be starting in our office until next week, or 2 weeks from now, I guess it is, 2 weeks from now. So once we're waiting until the end of January before we have our full staff. But we are fortunate that we also have Lauren DiCarlo, who is on our staff until January 22nd. She stayed on from the previous council member's office to help us make sure that we don't drop the ball from some of the cases that we've been working on, and has given us institutional knowledge about how things have been run. She's with us tonight as well. So if you're dealing with things in our office in these first 3 weeks of January, she's going to also be on our team for those 3 weeks. So I'm going to let each of those folks just sort of say hi so you get to know who they are. And then we'll finish the rest of or actually maybe we'll just finish the slides and then we'll let each person say hello. Is there anything else? There's probably one more slide, right? Oh yeah, first 100 days. So our plan for the first 100 days is first establishing our priorities. We're going to do this presentation for each of the community organizations here in District 4, in Alviso and River Oaks and Penitentia Creek. And here, obviously, BCAC and any other group that wants to invite us. We'll bring our entire staff there so everyone gets to know who we are and spend time listening to the concerns of the community and gather input. We're also spending a lot of time attending briefings, obviously, with city staff, making sure we understand what all the departments are doing and get to know what their priorities are and what they can do to help us and help our district. We're completing our transition into office. We obviously are not fully staffed yet until the end of January. We're onboarding our team members. We're also planning to spend some time building a robust infrastructure to resolve residents' issues and concerns. One of the things we don't have in District 4 is a really good system to make sure that when questions and needs come in from the community, that we can fully track them from the time they come in until they're resolved. So we're going to build a technical infrastructure to be able to keep track of all of the requests as they follow through to resolution. And then on the budget development side, we jumped right in at the time of year when budget development begins. So we intend to fully influence the city budget to the benefit of District 4 residents, and also, of course, invest our District 4 discretionary funds to the benefit of our neighborhoods and residents. So those are our priorities for the first 100 days. And now I want to let our oh, and of course, if you want to reach out, the email address hasn't changed, district4@sanjoseca.gov. And you can find us on the San Jose website, sanjoseca.gov/district4. So thanks for listening to that presentation. I'll let the rest of the staff members take a little time. Each of them should say hello, talk a little bit, maybe 30 seconds about their background, what they've done before, and say hello to you so you get to know who they are. And then if you have any questions, we can take those for a few minutes before we move on.
I'll kick it off since my mic is unmuted. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacy Brown. I am David's chief of staff. And like David and Hugo, I am also a school district trustee on the west side, Campbell Union High School District. And I've been doing that for about 10 years. I'm also a small business owner. I've spent my entire career in private industry, working in the software industry and doing project management. So this is my first time officially working as a public employee, and I am so excited about this. Kind of a pivot for me in my career. I've raised my family here in San Jose. Both my sons graduated from our Campbell high schools and have left the nest and are trying to get a degree during the time of COVID. But I'm just really excited to be part of kind of building out this new constituent service organization for District 4.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nahreen Arsenos. I'm the executive assistant for Councilmember David Cohen. I've been given the privilege to work with this dynamic team, and my previous roles have been admin assistant. I was working with Roche before I came on board for District 4 as an admin and executive assistant as well. I have experience in this field, and I would hope that I won't disappoint you when you call and talk to me. I hope I can help you get where you need to be and help you in every way I can. I'm thankful for this position, and I will do whatever I can to help everyone. Thank you for having me.
Hi, my name is Marley. I grew up in San Jose and in Gilroy. I went to Cabrillo Community College, and while I was there, I was interning at City of San Jose in District 5, and then I went to Cal State East Bay, and now I'm back. I was working for Waze and Google's public policy team for some time, and now I'm back at my favorite role, which is government. So I'm happy to meet you all. I'm excited to work with you.
I'll go next. Hi, everybody. Hugo Jimenez. I'm sure you know me. I know you guys. We're like old friends. And I'm this District 4 resident. I've been living in this community for 14 years. I went to Independence High School, and I'm a trustee for the Brea Union School District. I'm happy to be serving you in this capacity as well. So I'm going to be wearing different hats in the district. This is my community. I love my neighbors. I really care about my community, and I'm happy to be working with David to make Berryessa and all of District 4 a better place for all of its residents. Thank you.
Everyone, my name is Alexander Gvata. It's really great to meet you all. This is my first BCAC meeting, but I'm sure it'll be far from the last, so I hope I have the opportunity to get to know everybody in the months to come. In terms of my previous work experience, I've previously worked in City Hall as well as with the state legislature. I must confess, I'm not a San Jose resident myself. As the council member said, I live just a stone's throw over the border over in Campbell. But I'm very excited to work with you all and serve the residents of District 4. So I want to thank you all for the warm welcome that you've given us, and I really look forward to get to work with you all.
Hi everyone, Lauren DiCarlo here. As Councilmember Cohen mentioned, I'm just going to be with you all for 3 weeks to kind of help the team transition. Some of you may know me. I've been with District 4 in San Jose for the last year. Before that, I was in Ireland getting a master's degree, and then UC Davis before that. So I'm looking forward to kind of finishing up my work here for the last 3 weeks and helping you guys as much as I can.
We're excited because Lauren has gotten her dream job moving over to the housing department in the city of San Jose, and that's why she's leaving our team. But she'll still be working for the city of San Jose after she leaves us in a couple weeks. She'll still be a resource for us, helping with housing in the city. So anyway, that's the team. I don't know, we probably have used up our time, but if people have questions, they know how to reach us. I know
I think Ty, did you have?
Oh, okay.
No?
No.
You're just waving.
Well, thank you all.
And
just waving.
Okay.
Well done.
Hi, Ty. Hi, everybody. And certainly, we know a lot of you have already reached out with concerns and questions. We're filling up our calendar, and we will definitely be getting back in touch with everyone who's asking us questions. And don't hesitate to contact us if you have any needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
It's
you.
nice to meet everybody. We'll be in
Likewise.
touch. We'll be looking forward to having you come to our meetings, whoever can come. The next person up would be Assembly Member Alex Lee and his staff.
Hello. Hello,
Hey.
everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Assemblymember Alex Lee. I have the pleasure of being elected as your state assembly member in November. I am succeeding Assemblymember Kansan Chu, and I'm actually coming to you live from Sacramento, where we just wrapped up a very long budget hearing. So I don't know if Dr. Fuentes is still on, but maybe she's not on anymore. But we did discuss, oh, you still are on. Yes, I see you now in the mosaic. But we did discuss the $2 billion reopening, safe reopening plan, and I'll elaborate on that a little more. But, I have grown up in District 4, where BS is in San Jose, almost all my life. I still live there. So that is my home community. I'm very proud to represent you all in District 25. And the fun fact is I'm also the age of 25. So it is the same age number, district number. And hopefully, I joke around that when we redistrict in the next year, actually, I hope they change to 27 so I can just adjust with my age every election. It'll be really nice, at least for 2 elections, right? But anyways, I represent the communities of Berryessa, Northern San Jose, and District 4, what I share with David Cohen, and Milpitas, as well as Santa Clara, the city of Santa Clara, as well as the cities of Fremont and Newark as well. So it's a lot of cities, but Berryessa has a special place in my heart because it is literally where I live. So definitely want you all to feel free, comfortable to reach out to us if you ever have concerns, especially if you or your friends or your loved ones have concerns related to state issues. And that usually manifests itself currently, especially as EDD. If you have problems with unemployment insurance, you can contact our office. DMV issues, if you're having issues on DMV or your driver's license, that is very common. Or if you want to participate, obviously, in the democratic process that's happening in the state capitol every day now. One thing I always like to tell people when they ask me what the state assembly even is, because a lot of people unfortunately don't know, is it's kind of like Congress, but for California. California itself is the 5th largest economy in the world. In the world, we are a country in of itself, and we literally in the state legislature can do everything except for immigration and declaring war on people. We can do everything else that Congress can do, almost everything else. So we have a wide swath of interests and issue areas that we can work on. And I always encourage folks to reach out to our office if you're concerned about something. Frankly, obviously, a lot of concern about what happened on Wednesday in the DC. And we just passed a resolution today condemning those actions today in the state assembly, as well as obviously COVID-19 and what that's happening, right? I won't go into great detail about everything that's happening because I'll have more updates at our virtual town hall this Thursday, actually. I'm sure my office can get you information about that, but the virtual town hall is going to be Thursday. It's 5:15 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. I will, of course, again, be doing it live from Sacramento. Luckily, thanks to our Zoom life nowadays, I am up here the entire week. Unfortunately, this week I'm away from home, but it is important to do the work of the people. So just a quick update of what we're working on right now is, as some people have alluded to before as well, is I sit on the Assembly Budget Committee and the Assembly Education Committee. So we are analyzing very quickly the governor's proposed urgent actions, which include direct relief to low-income families and, of course, the safe reopening of schools. I have expressed my concern about the reopening of schools only in the vein of rushing the school districts. Now, this may not be the case of various school districts, but I have heard the concerns from different school districts and even across the state is that we don't want to put our school districts and educators in a position where they need to quickly reopen to get the funds, right? We want to be able to provide the funds for people when they reopen. And that is my priority, to make sure you are all safe when you go back to school and your kids are safe. And we don't want to, it is an interesting backdrop right now because we are approaching in this state, the 30,000th death in the state of California from COVID. And we are still in very, very deep purple straits right now. And I wouldn't want us to feel like we're in an uncomfortable position to reopen if we were still in the same pandemic situation in come February or March. So that's going to be very important to us. We're also having a lot of oversight with the vaccination programs. Any restrictions that are obviously happening, it's going to be really important to us. Personally, the things we're going to work on, and just a quick glance again at a preview of what's going to happen, or we're going to talk about on Thursday, is we're going to work on issues of housing affordability being, I think, a chief issue for anyone of every age living in San Jose and in the Bay Area where it's so prohibitively expensive. And the second thing is currently the first bill we introduced almost a month ago, when the day I was sworn in, I introduced a bill to take on corporate special interest money in our democracy because frankly, it stands in the way of a lot of big changes, and taking out more special interest money in our elections, I think is a great thing. It's something I've committed to personally. And if you've met me at the doors when we were campaigning, you know that I don't take any money from the fossil fuel industry or any corporations at all. Even the megaliths that dominate the Bay Area and the Silicon Valley, I just outright don't take their money. So it's important to me that we have more candidates who are independent and accountable to the people. So those are the things we're working on right now. I also sit on the committees of privacy and consumer protection, which is, of course, is very important to me as we live in the Bay Area. And I also sit on, I said education policy, budget, and I'm missing one more. It'll come back to me. There might be one more committee I'm sitting on. But I'm very lucky to be blessed with these posts. As I will tell you now, as a freshman legislator, as a first-year legislator, it is uncommon to be put on the budget committee because, frankly, we are looking at a budget of upward of more than $200 billion, and especially in this crisis and this recession is so important to me and to be working for you all that we prioritize the dollars we have to make sure that it has the highest effect, especially in this time of crisis. I'll just wrap that up by saying, please do contact me anytime. Feel free to reach out. On this call, I have Anurag, if you are still here. Yeah, there you are. Anurag, if you want to say something real quick.
Hi, everybody. It's Anurag. I think most of you know me from December Leeds office, Choose office. I worked for past 4 years, almost 4 years. So I'm serving as a new senior field rep capacity. And I think my colleague Jessica Matthews also here. She would just herself. So we are both working in the district office. Feel free to contact me and her, and we'll be happy to assist you as best as we can. And look forward to working with you on many things, and hopefully to see you in person soon. Jessica. Yeah, hey, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. So my name is Jessica Matthew, and I am the district director for Assemblymember Alex Lee's office. Before this, I worked on, I was in politics, but working more on the campaign side. So this is an exciting change from that. Yeah, like Anurag just said, I'll just echo that. Feel free to reach out to us anytime if you have any issues, questions, concerns, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thanks so much.
So thank you so much. I don't know if anyone has any questions or anything. If there's any top of mind, I'm happy to answer for next couple minutes while I'm on. If there's any questions, Linda.
I don't see any, but Anurag was always very faithful at attending the meetings. So we look forward to seeing him and keeping in communication with you through him. So we'll keep you.
Good, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for all the work you do for the Bay Area community, especially. And I do look forward to working with the many, many folks on here and your many different hats and roles you play in the community. So again, feel free to reach out anytime. Anurag and Jessica are fantastic resources. If you have any issues or any even opinions you want to share with me, I do take the role of legislating for our community very seriously. I forgot to mention this, but before being a state legislator, I worked in the state assembly. So I know a thing or two about what I'm doing right now. But if there are any ideas or things you're seeing that you think there need to be state action on, please let us know. Anyways, thank you so much for allowing me to be on tonight. Stay safe, everyone, and hope I'll see you at my town hall this Thursday at 5:15 p.m. All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you. All right, the next one is County Supervisor Otto Lee. I know you're here someplace.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
There you are, yes.
Good. Well, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be able to follow I call my adopted son, Alex. The funny joke was that some of you might have heard was when Alex he was one of the hardest worker, walking 7-8 hours a day in the campaign trail, and a couple of times he's been asked like, "Are you the son of Otto Lee?" So when that started, we say, "Hey, why don't we just continue that?" but no, he's been great, and I've been very proud to see how much he's accomplished, not only at his young age, but how much he's doing right now for the community in a very tough time during the pandemic. And I really look forward to working closely with Alex and also with David Cohen at the city level, because the way I see it is with me and Alex and David working together, there shouldn't be too many things we can solve all three levels working close together. And we've had a very, very close relationship through the campaign and friendship ourselves. So I think it's been great that we've got the right people at these positions to fight this pandemic, to get us out of this. And Of course, our in-house problems that we have is very serious, and that's something that I think we can work together to bring the resources needed to not only feed them, but also try to really find them a place to stay, find a roof for them. I've always said, we are in Silicon Valley, which is one of the most wealthiest place on not just in the United States on Earth, practically, right? I mean, you have, Santa Clara County has companies like Google, Facebook, Apple, Intel, but yet at the same time, when you look at the on-house situation that we have, is worse than the third world. And it's just inhumane, uncivilized, and these are the things that we really need to put our heads together to make this work, especially in the middle of pandemic. As soon as the eviction moratorium ends, right, which will end eventually, right, what's going to happen to the housing on house situation? Will more people get suddenly kicked out, and now we're going to double our homeless population, right? I mean, these are the kind of things that we need to get prepared for, and we are certainly working very hard every day to try to anticipate these issues. Of course, everybody's worried about is the vaccines, right? Oh, the vaccines are here, vaccines here. Well, so what? How about the distribution being so slow, right? And my background, for some of you who might know me, I served 20 years in the U.S. Navy. I wasn't exactly a ship driver or a submarine or airplanes. I was the supply officer. Logistics is my job. So I've done this for almost 3 decades for the Navy, trying to get stuff to ships, get things to aircraft carriers floating in the middle of the Persian Gulf, or in the middle of Iraq, trying to get things out of Iraq while being shot at. So my experience is about getting things to where like critical parts to where things needs to be at. And I hope some of these experiences would be helpful when it comes to the vaccine distribution. Just so happened, the last boss I was working with in Iraq in 2009 is now the 4-star general doing the vaccine distribution in Washington, D.C. Small world, right? So I'm certainly going to use that relationship to try to reach out to him to make sure that we got the allocation that we need and any issues that we are facing locally. But all kidding aside, this pandemic has been really awful. If you don't believe anything, believe on the numbers, right? When you look at something like 12 or 15 ICU beds is all we've got in the county of 2 million people, we're in trouble. So whatever you see on TV, whatever the politicians are saying, this thing is very real. I hate to report that out of my county staff, my own staff of 9 people that's working full time for me. As of today, I have 2 people that is COVID positive right this moment. Okay, this is very, very serious. It's everywhere, and you could tell people wear masks, socially distance. All those does not necessarily stop you from getting it. It would decrease your chance of getting it, but that doesn't mean you're entirely safe. Entirely safe might mean that you have to hunker down at home, and I'm hoping most people can afford to do that. Please do that. But there are people who still have to go work. You have to work at a grocery store. If you're a nurse, you have to work at a hospital. So it's not so easy. I mean, I see our uniformed police officers. I mean, you have to be out there, right, keeping our community safe. So our folks who's out there in the front line, you in the grocery stores, I salute to you for what you're doing. To keep our community safe. But it is a real challenge right now because when people talk about tracing right now, it's everywhere. I don't think we're anywhere near that we could actually even start any type of tracing right now, because right now it's just a matter of getting people to stay safe as much as possible. Hope that we don't impact our hospital anymore. Good news I could deliver is, what can we do, right? For example, like today we were having a session talking about some of the salary issues. One thing we're able to do is hoping to help our nurses who has been torn in terms of their shifts by I don't want to affect any patient ratio, but when you have more and more patients coming in, there's only the same number of nurses. How is that going to be not affected, right? So yeah, the county is really going through some tough times right now. We're looking at a budget deficit of close to $200 million this coming year. But I do think that the pandemic light, the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel is here with some of the vaccinations. We can get those out. Right now, we are able to. For the past 4 weeks, we have now been able to ramp up to deliver 6,000 vaccinations a day from the county, not including CVS and Walgreens. That's separate, not including PAM for Palo Alto Medical Foundation, Sutter, or Kaiser. Just the county can deliver 6,000. And hopefully with them, we could get up to 10,000 a day. And these are the numbers that we're working on as fast as we can to get the vaccines out to the community. And I'm very glad the state has now relaxed the tier system so that more people can be receiving the vaccines now, which will make it easier for us to get it out there. And so that's what we're working very, very hard. The Emergency Operations Center, the EOC of the county, is honestly working 24/7 of monitoring the COVID situation, the situation of the vaccinations. So if you have any such need, if you know anybody is qualified in the tier, have any reason that you believe that they should get the vaccine now, but they are run around not getting it to us, please contact us. Contact me at my office. I will drop my there's no chat box here. I was going to say I can drop my my contact here.
There is a chat.
Is there a chat? I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
I don't.
just see the chat box on my
Yeah.
view
Well, you
here.
can send it to me and I can send it out to
Sure,
everyone.
Linda, yeah. Oh, I mean, heck, I'll just tell you, this is actually my cell phone number. People say you're crazy. Yes, I gave that number during my campaign. I promise I won't change my number, and I'm not going to. 408-307-7387 is actually my cell phone number. And I answer my own calls, and please do leave message or text me. That would be probably best way for me to get to my staff to make sure that the word get out. Okay.
Very nice.
And I see a lot of familiar faces here. Hey, Ty. He spent a good hour educating me about the fairgrounds issue. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. He's the man. And I see a lot of friendly faces that I've met for years. Anurag, very good to see you. He's always been very helpful at the assembly, giving us all the information. And I'm very glad that you're on board with Assembly Member Lee as well. That's great.
You want to introduce Diego?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, Diego Martinez, who's on staff with us. Wave your hand, Diego. Yes. No, he wish he's sitting by the sunset of the Golden Gate Bridge. No, he's not.
Right.
He's working hard. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Any questions?
I don't see any.
This is an
Any-
easy crowd. Oh boy, I
know.
see Dick Santos there. Hi, Dig.
Oh, yeah. He's
Hi.
very faithful. He's always here. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Well, I
yes.
have a question, Supervisor. I got a
Sure.
call today, and your office number is not listed on your website.
Oh,
I had to go find
thank
it.
you for letting me know. So yeah, the office number is 408-299-5030. 299-5030. That's the District 3 phone number. That hasn't changed. So Supervisor Dave Cortese has that number, and that's also our number as well. But thanks for letting me know. I'll make sure the webmaster take care of that ASAP. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
Great. Great. Oh, it's so exciting to have all of you new people here tonight. It's just wonderful. So we have an update on our BCAC projects. We've been doing lots of projects. I say we because I'm part of it, but Ty's doing a whole lot of it. Anyway, Ty's going to talk to us about our latest one. It's the mural on the walls of the community center. Go ahead, Ty.
All right, if you would, can you upgrade me so I can share my screen?
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, thank you everyone for joining me this evening. Give you an update on where we stand with regard to the mural update, which started back at the end of 2019. We had an expectation it was going to be really fast. However, let's see if I can get this thing to move to the next slide. There. As of this month, John Pugh has completed the restoration of the mural. That was in spite of restrictions due to COVID. That was in spite of an out-of-state commission that took him to Missouri, I believe. Then we had wildfires that came close. And then he decided he needed to relocate his studio from Truckee, California to Oregon. So there have been a number of things that had to be overcome. But fortunately, we've had great support from both the artist and the Office of Cultural Affairs of the City of San Jose to keep the momentum going forward. And we did get an extension from the City of San Jose on the Cycle 3 grant, allowing us to complete this project. We currently have I have signed the contract. I haven't gotten the countersign back from Joe Sachs. He is the contractor who will be applying an anti-graffiti coating to the mural that will do two things. One, to protect it from any defacing, but also to give it some protection from sun and rain exposure that it gets because that's where it sits. So we're looking forward to getting that done in February. That's about a 2-day evolution. And so right now, among the things that the board has been receptive to is putting up a plaque that would commemorate this effort. And I have received some preliminary quotes from an organization that does plaques. And when I go to the next slide, come on, there, you kind of get an idea of what it looked like back in the day and what it's kind of looking like now. The restoration is going to make a huge difference in its eye appeal, and we hope that the protective coating will give us that look for longer than what we had this time. It was originally installed in 2003, so you can see how much it faded to 2019. So I'm going to move to the next slide. Come on, there we go. The commemorative plaque. Right now, the charter that I got from the board was we wanted to honor the history of Berryessa. We wanted to honor the vista that is portrayed in the mural. We wanted to make sure that we honored the person captured in the mural because he's nameless otherwise. He was Otis Jones. He was an employee back in 2003 when it was installed. And we want to commemorate both the artist as well as those who made it possible. The Office of Cultural Affairs. Turns out I can't use Lynn Rogers' name, even though she was instrumental in its success. They have a policy against doing that. So all we'll get is the Office of Cultural Affairs and also the BCAC sponsorship that helped coordinate everything and which got the grant money to supply the anti-graffiti coating and the plaque itself. Right now, first look estimates on the plaque. If I use material of bronze, which I think is more elegant, 24 inches wide, 18 inches high, it's going to be about $1,260. That is within our budget and would not require any BCAC funds to accomplish. And what I want to do with my last slide is share with you what the preliminary plaque would look like. And I'll give you a moment to read it. What we're trying to do here is, as I say, honor the history of our area. We're called Berryessa for a reason. We want to also acknowledge the fact that we come from an agricultural tradition, not where we are today, but back in the day, we were orchards and canneries and drying sheds. And so John Pugh's Trompe l'oeil means fool the eye in French, translated from French. His mural is designed to capture that serenity. And then, of course, we have Otis named as the person who is depicted in the mural as he looks out into the past. And then we have acknowledged the fact that this effort to restore the mural in 2020 is a function of the Office of Office of Cultural Affairs. They put up a boatload of money to get this done, and our acknowledgement to them, they put up about $26,000 in contributions to complement our 5. And so that's what I plan to have it look like. Of course, this is pending board inputs and final decision before we get a rendering and then have it installed. And with that, I will answer anyone's questions or take actions.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, Linda, Dick Santos. Explain to me again about this person named Otis Jones. I didn't pick that up.
Oh, if I may, There is, if you go to the mural, and it's not depicted in the photographs that I have in my presentation, but in one of the panels there is a guy. You see his upper torso and legs. His head is hidden behind a faux arch, and he's looking out onto the blossomed fields of trees. And the model for that person was a guy named Otis Jones. He was an employee at the community center back in 2003 when the mural was originally painted. And we thought it appropriate to at least acknowledge that that's who he is.
Yeah.
Maybe my question would be is we should know about his background. You know, we don't want to find out 2 months later that he was a bank robber and he might be the greatest guy in the world. I don't know.
No, he was an employee. He was the one that scheduled all of the rooms and events for the community center.
It's certainly worth looking into, Dick. I'll make sure that we're not stubbing our toe.
And he did a lot of good things for
No,
John
I'm sure he
Pugh.
does. And thank you for answering. I think it's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
The mural looks really good. I was just looking at it a couple of weeks ago. Stacy and I walked around and saw it.
It's beautiful.
It does look
beautiful.
nice now.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. So, any other questions? As soon as it gets really completed and they clean up the front, they've got to do a lot of the grounds people have to do some cleaning up around the outside. We'd like to really have a nice little dedication. Hopefully we could get inside to have the dedication, but it's so beautiful. It's just, you know, I drove up there and then I got out of the car and went right up to the walls, and then I've done it twice and really looked closely. I mean, it's just so beautiful. It just, you know, I moved down here in 65, and you know, it was orchards, but it was also lots of truck farms where all the, you know, produce was being grown, and flowers. They had flowers, and so it really was a beautiful place. My dad, we were from San Bruno, which is just south of San Francisco. My dad came down and goes, "How'd you find this place?" Even, you know, because it's so far out and there was just nothing much around. So it's really, we worked hard to get the community center there in the first place. We were one of the last community centers. And then they wanted to put a ladder. I'll tell you, because they have to have art at every one of those public places, the city does. And they wanted to put this giant ladder because, you know, they had to climb ladders to do picking of the fruits and that stuff. And we said, no, our whole, you know, community said, that's ridiculous. You know what's going to happen? It's going to be an attractive nuisance. That's all that's going to be. And so John Pugh was one of the artists at the time. There was 2 or 3, and plus the ladder. And we went down to the city. We went to the Office of Cultural Affairs and the people that were deciding what the art was going to be. And we fought there, you know, said, we want this. This is our community. This is our community center. And this is what we want. So they said, oh, well, okay. So they gave us the panels, and it just turned out so beautiful. And then to have it, you know, redone, it's just outstanding. And Ty, he's done so much. It's just, there were so many emails back and forth. I have this, you know, little pile of emails. I try to keep track of everything for all of our projects that we're doing, but it was no easy task. And he's been very faithful about staying with it and making sure that it got done. And it's almost there. We only have to get John in to do the spraying or whatever he does, the painting, the coating. So
I will accept the pre-completion acknowledgement. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate you. So one other announcement is that our BCA board meeting will be via Zoom next Monday. So I'll send out the agenda to you a couple of days ahead. If anybody has something to add to that, but we've got several items on the agenda already. So we will be doing that via Zoom, so we can't get together. Any other comments that anybody would like to make? Well, I thank everyone for coming tonight. This has been a wonderful event. I'm so proud that you were all able to come and we got to meet all of our elected officials, and we appreciate all that you do. And we will keep in touch with you. We hope to see you or a representative of your office at our meetings. We have the first, or no, it's the second Monday of every month, except for July and August. So we'll be glad to see you, and we'll keep in touch. We like to keep you all busy. Make sure you're staying out of mischief too. We keep you busy. We like to have our voices heard. So thank you all for coming tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Linda. We are plenty busy, all right? Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
know.
you.
All right. Good evening to you all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See you soon.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric, for all your help. Really appreciate it.